her timely submitted platform change, and that this body can hear it.
Yes.
There was an objection. He said because notice was not given that this body should not be allowed to hear it. It is my position and my ruling that yes, this body can present these matters as they were timely submitted, and this body is the final authority. Now, his ineligibility to change, Chair. I'm sorry?
So is he here for the minutes, Brian Lester, Washington County?
Okay, so now we're going to put it to the body. If you agree that Ms. Vassar-Taylor should be able to present her proposed platform change, please vote aye. All those opposed, please say nay. I think the ayes have it. Okay, so Ms. Taylor.
If you have copies, we have provided 400 copies, so you might reference this document if you have it. It's rather cumbersome. And I will read the amendment.
And if this can please be displayed up on the screen, please make your point of order at the mic. Go ahead, please.
All right, so the subjects involved are medical freedom and economic freedom. And so medical freedom, I'm just going to quickly describe before we look at the document. So, is the control over your own personal body accepting the rights of the unborn child, of course. We think of that. It's a rather difficult to find a good definition since it's a relatively new subject in our generation of hand, but mostly due to our recent freedom. Economic freedom is where we keep more control over the fruit of our labor than we yield to the government. So all freedom stems from economic freedom. Without economic freedom, we have no freedom. So that's my position and what I think that these amendments are important. I do want to point out that the platform does not change. Something in the platform does not, if it does not conform to the law, it would be similar to our position, pro-life position during the 50 years, actually it was in our platform for 40 years that we were pro-life, even though it was against the law provided for abortion. So this is saying that medical freedom is something that needs to be in our platform because it's our beliefs. Now, if the law says, sorry, we take away your medical freedom, it doesn't mean that we don't have this belief, and this is part of our principles. So at the top, you see medical freedom is included in the principles, along with freedom of contract, which is part of economic freedom. An example of the removal of freedom of contract would be recently that the Biden administration has said that a contract not to compete is illegal. All those are illegal effective September 8th. So if you'll go to the next page under preamble, I have on page 4. I'm sorry, page 2, if you'll scroll up there, please. Those are the definitions, and I'll just go ahead and read. We affirm that the individual is endowed by his or her creator with the inalienable right to bodily autonomy, short of ending the life of an unborn child. This right has recently been termed medical freedom. We believe that economic freedom is extremely important to total freedom and necessary condition for political freedom. Centralized control of economic activity is always accompanied by political repression. Private property and freedom of contract are vital to economic freedom. And then you can see the last paragraph in red. People of full age and competent understanding should have the utmost liberty of contracting. And their contracts entered into freely and voluntarily should be held sacred and be enforced by courts of justice. Good public policy should not lightly interfere with the freedom of contract. And then the next line you see inserted the words, we recognize the importance of lower taxes too within this insertion, preserve economic freedom, spur economic growth, and to ensure individuals reap from the benefits of their labor. So that's page 2. Then you go to page 4. And in that, we have economic prosperity. You see, that's part of our platform. Here we have people create jobs, not government. And so I have deleted the fact that since we support government development of programs that facilitate, I've taken that language out. And I've also deleted the language that we strongly support the use of economic development investments to help establish domestic businesses in Arkansas so that our citizens do not have to rely on sources beyond our borders that affect our security or our independence. That's excluded because that's our taxes going to, picking winners and losers. Okay, the last change is on page 12. And it's under individual freedoms, and that's where we get very specific about defining medical freedom. It'd be on page 12 of the platform. Y'all screen. Keep scrolling, please. Thank you. And as I said, this is under the section of individual freedom. And it's very important, keep going, to notice that it's right there. You see above it, it says that, we're talking about medical, doctors, hospitals, that kind of thing. In the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, we're aware of the need to define and protect medical freedom. We embrace the definition borrowed from a medical doctor, because I think that that's better to use that language, published by Brownstone Institute, November 23. Medical freedom is a moral, ethical, and legal concept essential to the just and proper practice of medicine that, number one, asserts the individual person's autonomy over his or her own body with regard to any and all medical treatment as absolute and inalienable, excluding that which would end the life of an unborn child. Number two, physicians, public health officials, and employers do not possess the authority to deprive any citizen of their fundamental civil rights, including during a declared medical emergency. Number three, the four fundamental pillars of medical ethics, autonomy, beneficence, non-malfeasance, and justice are essential to medical practice and must be observed at all times by all physicians.
It started at noon. It's
public
now
health officials, researchers, manufacturers, and all
5:30.
others involved in healthcare.
We've been delayed
We
because
support
the
medical freedom
establishment
legislation in
has been
Arkansas
trying to keep
that attempts
platform
to
and
address
rule changes.
aspects of three problems that became obvious during the COVID-19 era. Number one, these are the medical and public health infringement on citizens' fundamental civil liberties. Number two, the systematic and oppressive control and silencing of physicians during the pandemic. Number three, the apparently out of control, dangerous, and unethical research that spawned the pandemic in the first place. Thank you.
Our standing rules say that everybody is to have 5 minutes to speak on an issue. I'm going to read it directly from, let's see here, it's like Article 1, Section J. No person shall be permitted to speak more than once or longer than 5 minutes on the same question except by leave of the convention. The person making the motion shall be entitled to speak twice on the motion, initially upon making as well as closing the argument for the motion. So I just want to give you a heads up. That was very well done. I'm so grateful. But moving forward, we are going to have Ms. Hopper is going to be timing. Everyone gets 5 minutes. Yes, Ms.